Hello all, welcome. Today we are going to study clamper circuits. Another diode application will simulate a couple of clamper circuits in LT-Spice and observe its behavior. So let us directly start and let us first understand what is a clamper circuit. So clamper circuit is a circuit consisting of a diode and a capacitor and a resistor, which will do something like this. So if you have an input waveform like this, it will shift the entire input waveform up, above, or below by a DC shift. So basically, the output waveform will be the wave shape of the output will remain intact. Only thing is, its DC level will shift up or down. So basically, the DC level of this waveform over here is around zero. So this DC level will be shifted up or below depending upon the components inside the circuitry. So this is what a clamper circuit will do. It has a lot of interesting applications. So let us directly build up the clamper circuit first. Before going there, let me just revise you with something which we have done before in Clipper circuits. We will be using explicitly a constant voltage model. So what is constant voltage model? The diode characteristics will be approximated by this curve. As you can see, it's approximation. So the diode will be, when the diode is turned on, it will be turned on only when the anode voltage is greater than the cathode voltage by VD on. So let's say VD on is 0.7. So whenever external voltage across the diode, anode voltage is greater than the cathode voltage by zero point 0.7, the diode will be turned on. And when the diode is on, it is replaced by this VD on and a short circuit. This is ideal diode. So when it is on, it is replaced by a short circuit. And the diode is off if the external voltage VD is less than VD on. So these are the two key points in constant voltage model. So we'll be using explicitly this constant voltage model throughout our analysis of clamper circuit. Now let us directly quickly go and open up LT-Spice and start simulating the circuit. Okay, so let me go to the numerical itself. Okay, fine. So this is the clamper circuit which is given and we have to simulate this in LT-Spice. Let us start doing it. Let me open a new schematic. Let me, I have to adjust this a little this side. Yeah, now it is better. So I will take a diode, a simple diode, place it onto the screen and take a resistor, place it here. Then I require a capacitor and a resistor basically. So I will select a resistor and place it in parallel with this diode over here. And I require a voltage source. So I'll select a voltage source and place it over here. So these are my components, voltage source, capacitor, diode and a resistor. I'll join them with the wire like this. I'll also make the connections for the diode. Yeah, and my circuit is ready. Don't forget to add the ground. So this is my ground and I need to decide on the value of the capacitors. So this is my capacitor. I'll keep it as 10 microfarad. The diode which I will be having over here is a silicon diode. So I can select here IN4148. The resistor over here I require is around 10 kilo ohms and that's it. And basically at the input we require a square wave starting from phi and ending at minus phi. So how to give that? Right click on the source, go to advanced, select pulse and your starting voltage you can give it as phi, then you can give it as minus phi. Delay time you can give it as 0. Rise time you can give it extremely small, 10 picoseconds. Similarly fall time. On time you can give it as around zero point 0.5 milliseconds and the period you can give it as around 1 millisecond. So let me see. Yeah. So you can just put this a little down, so that you have a simplicity in the diagram. And let me label the input and the output now. So I'll label V in, and similarly I can label V out. So my circuit is complete, and now I can simulate this directly in LT5. So I'll go to simulate, run. Stop time, well, I can give it around, let's say, 10 milliseconds. So I'll get 10 cycles of square wave starting from -5 and ending at starting at 5 and ending at -5. So let me just simulate this. I can plot V in. So as you can see, 10 cycles of square wave for the input, and this is my output. So one thing, if you notice carefully, is this waveform is slightly shifting upwards. So basically what happens is this capacitor is not pre-charged or something, right? So it will take some time to, reach the steady state condition. So what we will do is we will go to simulate, we'll go to edit simulation command, and let it be around 40 milliseconds. And you can start building up by around 35 milliseconds. I'll show you what I'm doing. Let me go back over here and let me show you first for only 40 milliseconds how the waveforms look like. Then you will have an idea. So as you can see in your screen, do you see this trend? Let me just open up the annotation. So do you see this falling trend over here? And here there is a little bit rising trend, and here it reaches a constant. So we are concentrating on this part. So what we will do is we'll only observe this part. Initially, will not observe this part because that will not clearly match with the theory. So for that, what to do is go to edit simulation command, and time to start saving data will be around 35 milliseconds. And I click on OK. So I can only see that steady state part now, where the voltages are settled down. So this is what the clamper do. As you can see, the red color over here is my input, and the blue color waveform is my output. And input waveform is a square wave starting from 5 and ending at -5. And output waveform has just been shifted down by some level. So we'll calculate that level shortly, and we'll quickly see now what is this now. So this is around 575 millivolts. So that is around 0.575. So similarly, all this is settled down now. This is around 575 everywhere. Now we'll go back to the circuit and analyze how does this waveform we have got from that circuit. So let me go back to the circuit and explain the working. Okay, now let us analyze this circuit and see that why we got that waveform which we got in LT5, and what exactly this clamper circuit is doing. So this diode over here is the silicon diode, which we have selected as 4148, who's having a constant voltage model, that is VD on is around zero point 0.7. In this case, the VD on for this diode is around 0.575. And let us start analyzing this circuit. So there is an assumption. We will come back to this assumption a little later. First, we'll go to the operation in the positive half cycle. Now, what do you mean by positive half cycle? The positive half cycle will be the one in which the waveform, the input waveform is above zero reference, and below zero reference, it is called as a negative half cycle. So that is what is meant by positive and negative half cycle with respect to these waveforms. So during the positive half cycle, this diode will be on only when V in exceeds VD on. So whenever V in exceeds VD on, the diode is on and the circuit will become something like this. So this is how the circuit will become. Now as you can see, V in is a square wave whose voltage is changing from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and is staying at 5, again falling down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and again going from 0 to below -5. So that is 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and again from -5 it is going back to 0. That is what the input is. Input is changing continuously with respect to time, which is my square waveform. So in the positive half cycle, whenever this input crosses this turn on voltage of the diode, that is VD on, the diode will become on. Whenever the diode becomes on, we know we have applied the constant voltage model, so it will be replaced by this VD on and a short circuit over here. So that is what is happening over there. And so the output voltage will be just VD on in the entire positive half cycle. So as you can observe over here, I can right click on the V out and I can observe that this waveform is around 575 nearby throughout throughout the positive half cycle whenever input is in the positive half cycle. So that is what is the meaning of V out is equal to a constant which is equal to VD on, which is in our case for 4148 it is around 0.575 volts during the positive half cycle. So at the same time, when the diode is on, at the same time the capacitor starts charging, right? So the capacitor starts charges and the voltage across the capacitor, which is determined by this polarity, can reach maximum up till Vm. So this is my, let me show you. This is my Vm. So the capacitor can reach maximum up till this value. Now, if it reaches Vm, so there will be a voltage across this capacitor developed. So how to calculate that voltage? Concentrate on the left hand side of your screen, that is left PDF. So if we apply KVL, so KVL says V in minus VC minus VD on is equal to 0. So what is my VC from here? VC is equal to V in minus VD on, and in this case positive half cycle V in is Vm, and Vm is around 5. So the voltage across the capacitor during the entire positive half cycle is around 4.3 volts. So this voltage will be useful in the negative half cycle. So at one point of time, I want to clarify one thing, that how does the capacitor charges, very slow or very fast? So let's think for a moment. The capacitor will charge at a particular time. So that time is called as charging time. Now the charging time depends upon the charging elements. So the charging elements here are C1 and the diode. There is no this resistor will not come into picture. So basically, capacitor charges via this diode. Now, the capacitor charges slow or fast. It charges rapidly, very, very fast. Why? Because whenever the diode turns on, the on state resistance of the diode is extremely small. Let me give you some numbers. So, let me open up the annotation. So, let's calculate the charging time hypothetically. The charging time of capacitor of C1, right? So charging time constant will be given by C1 into the on state resistance of the diode. So I can consider R on. So the value of C1 we have it as around 10 microfarad, and that you multiplied by, let's say, the on time the on resistance of the diode is very small, so let's consider around let's say 50 ohms. It's even smaller than that, but let's say 50 ohms. So when you multiply 10 micro multiplied by 50, you get a time of around, I think this 50 is a too large value. You have lesser than that. Let's say around 20. So this value will come out to be zero point 0.2 milli. So zero point 0.2 milliseconds. So as you can see, the charging time for this capacitor is around zero point 0.2 milliseconds over here. And these waveforms which you have over here are having a time period of around 1 millisecond. So the charging is extremely rapid. Actually, this value of on resistance of this diode is even smaller. I have written is 20, but it's even smaller. So that will also keep on slightly fluctuating. So this value is quite small. And so hence the charging time of this capacitor is extremely fast. Hence the input charges instantaneously, output charges instantaneously with the input. Hence you see, do not see any lag over here. Okay, let me just clear out the annotation. Okay, fine. Now let us go back to the other section, that is when the diode is off. Now, now we know that the diode will be off whenever V in is below VD on. So during the entire negative half cycle, the diode will remain automatically off because V in is below zero. So whenever V in is below zero, this diode will never turn on. So let us now see this. So during the entire negative half cycle, the diode is off for the entire duration of negative half cycle. So whenever the diode is off, the diode will be replaced, can be replaced by open circuit. That means the diode is off. Open circuit means we do not remove the diode physically. It so happens that the diode will have, when it is off, it will have a very high impedance. So very high impedance is represented by open circuit. So that's what it means. So what happens to the charges? But what happens to the charges stored in this capacitor? So what happens is we have this resistor into the circuitry. Actually, I guess I have forgot to draw this resistor. We have this resistor. So capacitor can discharge to the resistor. Yeah, there will be a resistor over here. Actually, I guess I have missed it out. Let me just try to draw that. So there will be a resistor over here. So this is my resistor R1. Okay. So so what has happened now is, in the negative half cycle, suddenly the diode has disappeared. But now what happens to this capacitor? The capacitor charge is stored. So now this stored charge can be discharged via this capacitor, via this resistor now. There is no diode. So now this capacitor can release its charge via this, it can discharge via this resistor. So you have something called as discharging time constant now. So let me annotate again. So you have something called as uh, discharging time. Let us calculate the discharging time for the capacitor. So discharging time will be given by C1 multiplied by this resistor R1. So this number will be, let me just, yeah. So 10 micro multiplied by 10K. So that number is coming out to be, let me calculate using a calculator. 10 micro multiplied by 10K. So this number is coming out to be around 100 milliseconds. That means the capacitor takes around 100 milliseconds time to discharge completely. So what is the advantage of this? The advantage of this is, let me just go back to the waveform. Since the discharging time is around 100 milliseconds and here it is around 1 milliseconds, that means what? The capacitor voltage will discharge completely after 100 milliseconds. So it's a long time to go. So at that time, as you can see, there is a slight drop. I don't know whether you have noticed that or no. See, capacitor is discharging, already discharging, but it's discharging very slowly according to this rate. So after around 100 milliseconds, this charge, which is around 600 millivolts, will go to zero. So that is the meaning of this discharging time constant. So this is my discharging time constant, which is given by R into C, which is around 100 milliseconds. So that's why you see this little drooping in the output level. I can show you here. So you can see this a little drooping over there, right? So this is why the capacitor will definitely discharge via this resistor. So that discharging time constant is around 100 milliseconds. So that is what the meaning of that statement is. That the while while studying this, clamper circuit, the RC time constant is should be large enough. Then the time period. The time period of this signal is around 1 millisecond. So RC time constant here is 100 milliseconds. So RC time constant should be large enough to ensure that the voltage across the capacitor does not discharge significantly during the period the diode is off. So here in this period the diode is off. So let me just show you here. Across actually the diode is off over here. Yeah. So that was the on. So diode is off over here. Let us observe that. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So as you can see, the capacitor is a little bit discharging. So it can go to zero. It can go to zero after around 100 milliseconds. So capacitor will discharge, but it will discharge very slowly. So that is what the assumption is, the underlying assumption is. I repeat, the RC time constant should be large enough than the time period of the input signal to ensure that the voltage across the capacitor does not discharge significantly during the period the diode is off. So the diode is off in the negative half cycle. So during that period, uh, the 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 discharging time constant should be large enough. Now let me go back over here. Okay, let me just adjust this. Yeah, actually that annotation will keep on coming. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So so that's what the circuit is about. So now what we will do is we have to assume that you have this capacitor over here. Actually, I can decrease a little. So you think that there is a resistor over here, please? Yeah. So during the negative half cycle, the capacitor will hold that value of 4.3 volts. So during the negative half cycle, when this thing is going down, the capacitor will hold that value during this cycle when it is going down. So what happens due to that? So it will act as a battery. So capacitor will act as a battery in the negative half cycle. So now the KVL when you apply in this loop, it will be given by V in minus Vc minus V out is equal to 0. Now I can remove those annotations now. Let me just clear that out. Yeah, better. So during the negative half cycle, the KVL will look like V in minus Vc minus V out is equal to 0. So what is my V out? So V out will be equal to minus V in minus Vc, where minus V in is nothing but minus Vm, and minus Vm is nothing but minus pi. So minus pi minus 4.3, so that will become as minus 9.3. So V out will be minus 9.3 throughout the negative half cycle, although it will discharge slightly, but it will be close to 9.3 as you can see. Not close to 9.3 because the VD on is around 0.575, so it will be a little bit higher than that because VD on is not zero point 0.7, so it will be close to around anywhere between 0.9, 0.4 something. So you can observe that carefully over here. So you can take the center around 9.4 something it will be. And when you observe the waveform, it's almost looking like a constant, right? Although it discharges slowly because of the discharging time constant of this capacitor. So that's how the clamper circuit, so that's how you get this number as 9.3. So this is using constant voltage model. So that's how the waveform looks like, right? So that's how the waveform looks like, exactly like this. So what happened is the 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 clamping level has shifted down. Now what is the clamping level? Here the clamping level is around 4.3. So entire waveform has been shifted down. This input waveform has been shifted down by 4.3. So basically, if you add the 4.3 to minus 5 minus 4.3, it will become 9.3. So as you can see, the clamping level is the amount of charge in the terms of voltage stored by this capacitor. So this is actually a clamping level. So the entire waveform, as you can see, by dotted line is my input and my black line is my output. So the entire waveform over here has shifted down by that clamping level. Similarly over here, practically the VD on is slightly differing. It is around 0.575, So hence the V out level down also will be slightly different. So the clamper circuit, the entire waveform is shifted down. Hence this is called as a negative clamper. So this circuit has a name. So this is called as negative clamper circuit. So let me define that name over here. So this is your negative clamper circuit. Now let us quickly see another clamper circuit. We'll quickly build that circuitry for you all. Let me see if I have that numerical. Yeah. So here is the numerical. So here what we have done is we have just taken this another clamper circuit and we have given an external bias voltage. So let us observe how this looks like quickly. Let me close this. So I can go to a new schematic and I can copy this entire schematic from here. I can paste this circuit like this and drag it to the main circuit. Okay, I can keep that open. And what I want is now I'll remove this negative part. It's just a clamper circuit. In this case, we don't know right now. So what I will do is I have to reverse this diode. So I'll not cut it. I'll just pick this diode from here and rotate it. Yeah. So I've reversed the diode, but additionally I have to add a voltage source here. So I'll cut this, add a voltage source from here. I guess the voltage source would be, yeah, this way only. So I can easily add a voltage source like this and I can join them with a wire. And I have to give this, I can name this as V1. I can give it around 2.7 volts. So this is my external bias voltage and this is my diode over here and the resistor and capacitor I can keep it the same value. Now I have to apply a triangular wave. So basically let's skip the triangular wave. We can directly apply a sine wave over here. Let me just remove this and add another voltage. So here I have added the input voltage from here and I'm calling it go to advance and select a sine. So its maximum amplitude is around 10 and it's going up till minus 10. So let me also give it as 10 volts peak and frequency we can give it as around 1 kilohertz. And let me just remove this for time being and we can observe the waveforms now. Let me push a little out so that the circuit looks clear. Now if I simulate this, let me just keep the stop time as around 5 milliseconds and I click on OK. So I can observe these waveforms now. So this is my clamper circuit. So yeah. So you can ignore the first cycle. It's because of the capacitor initial charge across the capacitor. From then on, it will be proper. So as you can see, what I can do is I can show the waveforms after around 2 milliseconds. So I can save the waveforms after around 2 milliseconds. So that way the waveforms output will be pretty clear. Yeah. So now it is pretty much clear like this. So this is my input waveform which is starting from 0 and as you can see the entire waveform has shifted up above. So the new level. So let us analyze that quickly. We'll not go into details. We'll quickly analyze this circuit. So during the negative half cycle the V out is around 2 volts. So let us observe that V out. We can keep this point over here. So it will be around close to 2 volts because obviously our VD on is not exactly zero point 0.7. So this is close to around 1.93. That's correct. And during the positive half cycle, the output goes to around 22 volts. So let us check that also. So during the positive half cycle, output goes close to around 22. So as you can see, it is going to close to around 22 volts. So similarly, you can observe these waveforms. You can apply a triangular wave easily, not a problem. So, but the functionality remains the same. As you can see, any wave shape, it is just shifted up and down without changing the wave shape of the input signal. Output signal is producing the same sine wave but with a DC shift. As you can see, it's clearly clamping the waveform a little above. So this circuit which is clamping the waveform up is called as a positive clamper. And since we have a bias voltage externally applied over here, it is called as a biased positive clamper. So let me rename the circuit. So this circuit is called as a biased positive clamper circuit. So in this way, there are several clamper circuits. So I can show it to you. Yeah. So there are around total varieties. There are 6 such clamper circuits which you can observe. Here, mind you that they have used the ideal diode model, but we have to use practically the constant voltage model. So there are around 6 varieties of clamper circuits available. That is reversing the diode, then adding the supply, adding the bias supply with negative, then again reversing the diode and the supplies accordingly. So you have 6 varieties of clamper circuits. We can simulate them easily using LT Spice, and the results are quite accurate, as I've already shown you all over here. Let me just show you. Yeah, yeah. So the one thing is very clear: the clamper circuit will only clamp the output signal above or below the x-axis without distorting the output at all. So So this is the clamper. So these were the 2 clamper circuits which we have analyzed today. So that's it for today. Next time we'll see another diode application again in LT Spice simulation. So thank you.